Hello, everyone. Welcome to the trip. This is summer month, so as you can see, it's just me right now. But I should have at least one other co-host joining me. But we'll get into it. Oh, look at here, look at here, showing up. Just I'm going to say he's showing up late. If you're a minute, if you're if you're a minute late, you're 6 minutes late. So yeah, but welcome to the show. We've got Tony in the house. Tony, how you doing?
I'm doing all right. After they figure out Gary's math, 1 minute late equals 6 minutes.
You have to be on time. You know what on time means, right? That means
I'm on.
you need to be there before the scheduled
Okay.
time. I actually send out a message every show, basically with the time I would like people to join me, and that's always 5 minutes before the show. You know how many people actually are there 5 minutes before the show?
I am most of the
Once
time.
in a while. Once in a while. Not all the time. Not all the time.
Most of the
Once
time, Gary.
yeah. Yeah, sometimes I come in and he's sitting there waiting. So, but not today. Today he was late. So we'll say hi to a couple of people and we'll get into it. Got Stan in the house. Stan, thanks for joining us. And Geeks of Mucklebee's in there to just show his support. Thank you for joining and have a good night's sleep. Yeah. Say didn't get you message. Oh, I don't know what that. Well, was I supposed to send you something? I think. Oh yes, no, no. I'll get off to sleep. Enjoy. Have a good night's rest. And joining us, we got a full house today. And last but not least, or least but not last, whichever way you want to go with it. It's
Hello.
Spencer in the house. Spencer, how you doing?
I'm hanging in there. How you gentlemen doing?
Doing good. Doing good. I was gonna
I'm
say, is
just
that?
worried about you and all your felines.
Uh,
Oh, they're doing well. They're doing well.
I was saying, is
I
that?
mean,
It's a Snoopy behind you. So Snoopy, yeah,
just
yeah,
standing down on the cats now.
yeah, yeah. Ah,
Lots.
right.
Oh,
Yeah. No,
fuck.
I was telling Tony to be on time, and you know what? Who should be on time because he is, and I believe he's an armed service guy. Spencer knows that if he's 1 minute late, then he's at least 6 minutes late.
I haven't been on time for anything in like 2 or 3 years. But I plead the fifth on that.
He knows better though. He knows that. He knows being there right when the clock says the right time doesn't mean you're on time. It means you're a little late. He knows that. Got BX in the house. Welcome to the show, BX. Muck saying, Muckle, Geeks of Muckleby saying hello. We got Miss Melina in the house. Miss Melina, thanks for joining us. Yes, yep. That's Nick right there. Geeks of Muckleby. So, all right, we're 4 minutes in. We haven't even talked any football yet. It's a good. There's not much football to talk about, anyways, right? I think since the
And
last time we.
it's not like we're signing and close to signing players.
Well, I think I believe Zubimendi has finalized since we last spoke. I believe, right? I believe that has actually happened. That is actually like
Yep.
a legit thing. He actually signed a piece of paper and did the videos and all of that, and is hanging out at the at Sauber VLT Stadium or whatever, hanging out, enjoying that, meeting players from both the men and the women's team. I think everybody's showing up.
Duperez has left his hot girlfriend. Which
Oh,
I'm
yeah, you got
disappointed.
your audio's got a little like buzz to it. I don't know if it's like what's going on there, but every time you talk, I hear it. Zzz. It's like you're getting it's like you're getting a shock. So
And so there's like one of those bug zappers.
yeah, it sounds weird. Yes. Yeah, we have thanks everybody for joining. Yes, Zubimendi is finally signed, sealed, and delivered. Very nice. I know not many are. I guess I should say impressed with that because that's not what they want, even though it's what we need. We definitely need it now. All right, we definitely need a midfielder who can actually progress the ball up the pitch, comfortable with the people around him, and all of that. So Zubimendi brings that, so that's a good thing. All right, and then yeah, that's right. Next up, I think is Norgard. He's going to be he's going to get the paper treatment and all that videos and stuff. Yes, and the big news sounds like Gukarez is coming. Are we happy with that?
Yes.
It's
Total like right away.
yeah, he's heading it at his prime, so hopefully there's not much adapting he needs to do.
Yeah, so I think everybody has this. Yes, we want Gukarez because he's got most experience, but then the next statement is if it works out, and it's like you have a choice. It has to work out. You have to figure out a way to get him to perform ASAP. We don't have time to wait.
I'm excited for it.
Yeah, yeah. If you look at what we've had before, and now we have a legit striker. If we can't be happy about that, then we'll never be happy about bringing in a striker to this team.
Well,
we still need another striker.
We need one. Let's get the one first, and then we'll worry about the next one. All right?
Because you know what's going to happen, Gary. You know how this is going to work. He's going to miss one shot, and then all of a sudden he's going to be like, "No, not good enough. We need to spend another $80 million on another." It's going to happen.
Yeah, and we all know that Haaland, who's supposedly one of the better strikers out there, is one of the better missers of shots. So hopefully people are aware of that as well. He will miss shots, but you know what? I think he'll more likely be in the box taking shots more often than any of our other strikers have since Aubameyang left, and he's not even a striker. So there you go.
Just tell Arteta he can't be in the midfield, can't be a false
If you
eight.
spend the money we're spending on him, even though we're spending more money on other players, right? If his primary objective isn't to score goals, then yeah, Arteta's got problems.
I mean, I think there's little risk in the 63 million fans.
Sounds like you're in a you're talking out of, like you got a mask on. Like you're underwater.
You were sounding like you were in like a church or something like that.
Now you're sounding a little bit better. I don't know if you have to speak up or if it's a different mic.
It's a different mic. It's not iPad mic instead of the one on the beat.
Maybe it's just me. Chris Nix is in the house. Chris, welcome to the show. Straight from the what? 36 chambers of Shalom Zubi. Where's the 36? All right. I don't know what that's all about. Got Moss in the house. Welcome to the show, Moss.
Wu-Tang Clan. Come on, Gary.
Yes. Huh?
Wu-Tang Clan.
Oh, yes, you're right. You're right. I don't remember the 36 chambers of Shaolin now. Maybe that's a different. I looked up my clock a little more special today. What? I don't know what that means. I don't know if I said something bad there.
Nope.
Oh, no. Another Scandinavian name for Gary. Gukarez. Is that right? How you say it? Is that how you say his name?
He's got it loud and clear.
Yeah, I think I can get that one. Or I'll just call him Bane. Is that all right? Can I just call him Bane? I actually made a picture. I don't know if you saw it.
Yeah.
Did you see it?
Nope.
Oh, I made a picture. Let me see if I can. Where did I put it? Oh, it's over here. I should. Yeah, I made a picture and let's see. I should put it up on the thing because let's see let's see DMW. There we go. Where is it? Okay, it's not there. Is it in here? I gotta find out where I put this picture. I made a picture and I can't find it now.
Sounds like Gary's gonna start up pin that there.
Yeah. No, I am. Oh, you know what? DWTT. Okay, the reason why I couldn't find it, I'm not looking in the right spot. Here we go. Let's see. It's a cool one. I always talk about when people talk about this stadium. Yeah, two teams playing in the stadium. I like I hope Bain visits. And let me see if I can find the screenshot here. Where is it? Oh my gosh! All right, I'll keep looking for this. You got so. Kukress is joining. That's good. Next up, do you think we're going to get both Eze and
We need both of them.
Rodrigo? I don't. Eze should be the next one if we're going to get him. I think we definitely Eze. I think would be somebody that would be really crucial to our problems. One of our problems,
Instead of
anyways.
that we lost here.
Good, Steven in the house. Thanks for joining us. Yeah.
The biggest question, Gary, is did we sell your buddy to the Saudis for $72 million?
Yeah, I don't. I
I'll come and get him and drive him there.
yeah. No, I don't. I hear what you're saying. I don't think he's gonna want to go.
I don't think he's going to want to go either.
I don't think he has much of
I don't.
a choice.
You don't think what?
I don't think he has much of a choice.
What do you mean he doesn't have much of a choice? He does have a choice. He has a choice. You can say no, I'm not going, and they can try to find somewhere else for him to go. I don't. Everybody, I hear a lot of people like, yeah, he just has to go, and it's like,
he's got to want to go too.
Yeah, and it doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way.
Just get rid of his contract, like I mean, honestly,
How do you get rid of his contract?
mutual decision of
His contract
Yeah.
ends when his contract ends in 2 seasons. You can't just. He's not gonna just ask you to rip it up. So try again. What else can you do?
send him in a cargo container.
You can do what?
Send him in a cargo container.
Okay, yeah. Now you're acting. Now you got. Yeah, you're silly, man.
No, if he doesn't want to go, he's not going to go. It's just as simple as that. I don't think you're going to get both. Like Eze, probably more likely. Rodrigo's kind of a pipe dream. Rodrigo, if he leaves Real Madrid, probably, in my opinion, ends up at like a Bayern Munich or something like that. The only way you're going to get Rodrigo is you'd probably have to sell Martinelli and Trossard to make that move happen.
And Trossard already wanted to leave.
Well, I mean, we haven't spent that much money. If you think about it, we haven't really spent that much money. I mean, Kepa is 5 mil. Norgard is what?
10 mil.
10 mil, right? And Zubimendi is like 65, and I think
it was like 55 actually.
55, so he's even less. And then Gyökeres is I think 60, 65, something like that. He's less than Shesko, so so you still have you could definitely get somebody in. I think Zinchenko might be on his way out, and Trossard I think might be on his way out. I think Fenerbahce. So you might have enough money to get 2 players in still. 2 big players that we could definitely do with.
And you have to do it with these guys because I'm pretty sure with Trossard, his contract expires next June.
You can do what?
I said his contract expires next June, so you pretty much have to do something with him now. Or you just lose him.
You mean Trossard, right?
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, if they don't want to, I mean, I don't. For me, Zinchenko, Martinelli, and Trossard really are they long for Arsenal? I don't think so. We could definitely use them, but I'd rather if you told me you can replace them with if you had to get Eze and Rodrigo in, but you would lose those 3 players. Would you have a problem with it? I don't think so. I wouldn't have a problem with that.
No, I like Trossard, but I don't think Arteta is ever really used incorrectly.
I can't. Maybe it's just me. I can't hear what you just said.
Now to go back to the other microphone.
Yeah, like I said, it sounds like you're underwater to me. I don't know, Spencer. Were you able to hear him?
Unfortunately, I was not.
Okay, all right. So might be your mic.
I'd be both Mike.
So yeah, I mean, I guess you could move Trossard on. I mean, I'm okay with that. Just don't know if you're gonna. I mean, if you can make it work, sure, get Eze and Rodrigo. I just don't know if it's gonna happen.
What about now, Gary?
Sounds a little better. We'll see as you can keep talking. No, I mean, I think we need to make, like, if we're gonna make moves, we need to make moves.
Yeah, we got to make moves because the people that were upset in June that things weren't being done, they need more satisfaction.
Well, no, I think we need to. No, I think I'm one of those people that think we should be making moves to get us across the.
This was already discussed about the financial year and everything.
Yeah. No, we need to we need to get this things done.
As long as you have players before we go to Asia, it's all okay.
Yeah, well, if Gukares is on the plane, good. Zubamendi's on the plane, good. All right, Saka hopefully is on the plane. All right,
we can get Eze over the line.
Eze would be nice.
Rodrigo feels like a deadline day move. That's what that feels like.
Well, if you think about it, one, he's still playing, and he'll be done this week. But then also he'll be on
a break.
He'll be on vacation for at least 3 weeks.
Yep.
Right, and then he'll decide what he's going to do. So more than likely it's August. We'll wait till August to get him. Right. So we'll wait until then to get him. So I don't think that's an issue. It shouldn't be an issue.
Well, there's something I've noticed, and you've probably noticed it too. I mean, imagery is a big deal to me. Pictures say 1,000 words, right? Words also matter too. But we're seeing a lot of pictures with just Berta and players. We're not seeing Arteta and players. Have you noticed that?
Well, it is.
Zubi was just picture with Berta. I didn't see a picture with him and Arteta.
Yeah, Arteta might.
Who's in control?
Well, Berta should be in control.
I mean,
that's the whole thing we've been talking about. Like everybody has their role, right? The person that brings in the players is who?
Berta, and we're seeing that.
Yeah.
What did we have that conversation last week when I brought it up?
Yeah, and I think that's the way it should be. So I think if that's what's happening, good. I mean, separation of roles and stuff should be the thing that happens. So,
well, again, I have a theory in my mind, and I don't really want to go down this road, but I will go down this road because I haven't been able to put this theory out to anybody. So what my theory is that the Cronkies have hired Berta in to, bring an experienced football-minded person in, and this is an audition year for Arteta. And if Berta doesn't like it, they're gonna. I can't see any other reason. I know people say the Cronkies all they care about is top 4, but the Avs, the Nuggets, and the Rams prove otherwise. So it's interesting to see his picture with all these players, and the players were linked to it too. Like I've heard people talk about Berta and how he tries to get 3 or 4 deals together, and then decides hey, what's the best deal? Whereas Eddie was kind of focusing on getting one player, and that's why the Eze thing that might not be set in stone. So interesting times. You're going to have to make a splash because Bert said Liverpool is going to be a problem and City's going to be a problem again. I think Chelsea will be good again.
You're not going to have it like last year where 3rd through 7th was separated by 2 points. I guess 2nd and 7th was 2 points.
Here's the other thing too. as long as you keep
Mhm.
Timber, White, uh, Gabriel Saliba, Raya back there, you've got your defensive back line set up. You still got Kivior. I think he's a solid player. Calafiore is going to be all right. We just ripped up the contract of Tomiyasu. So that's interesting. So now you got to find another right back. You still got Miles Lewis Skelly up there. What's to say the club's not sitting here saying, you know what, Trosser, Martinelli, just not good enough. We've got to potentially move on from you guys. So we're going to go take a shot on an Eze. Take a shot on a Rodrigo, bring in Georgis. Like, there has to be some sort of cutthroatness, I think, going forward, to say, hey, because, I mean, Berta's not blind. We all saw this where we only play in a certain manner, right? Sling the ball in the box and hopefully something happens. We need people that can take shots outside the box. Eze's good at that. So there's just ways. We got to find another way to skin this cat, shall we say? And I think if you want to make it over that hump, you've got to look at guys like Trosser, Martinelli, even Havertz, and all these players and say, hey, if you're not doing it, we'll bring in a guy that will do it. And bringing in an Eze and a Rodrigo and moving on from Trosser and Martinelli. Martinelli, if you move on from him, I think they paid $5 million for him. Anything you sell him for is profit at this point. You still got Dowman. I know we're probably going to touch on the Nweri thing, which is interesting. So I know you probably have thoughts on that, Gary. But just some things I've noticed, with the club and the imagery and how they're presenting things. And I'll let you guys go ahead and go.
I think you bring Berta in, as you said, you bring somebody established, somebody who's got a name for doing certain things a certain way. I mean, I like the idea, or I like the approach that he takes. That he, and we talk about this all the time. Plan B. It didn't seem like Arsenal had a plan B ever. All right. As soon as Shesko said, no, I'm not coming, we didn't even look. It didn't even seem like we looked. That definitely the media didn't have anything to say about it. And we know based on this season, this off season, right? The media will talk about Arsenal if that information is pushed out there. And it's been a lot of information pushed out there about multiple players per positions that we're looking at, right? We needed to replace our sixes. We did that. Bang, bang. Backup goalkeeper, we needed that. We've done that. All right. We definitely need a striker. We need a left wing, a right wing. We're looking at multiple players to fill all those roles, as they can play up top, but also can play in the midfield. And Nweri is still up for, like you said, we'll get into that. But yeah, no, I think Berta, for me, is doing the things that we wanted Edu to do. You cannot just have one player and that's it. I mean, and that might not have been his by design. That might have been somebody else's design. But Berta, it seems like he's able to run the show the way he wants. I mean, I think a lot of people like Berta got his way with Gyökeres, but I feel between Gyökeres and Shesko, they went, of course, the way with the least amount of money, least amount of overhead at the end of the day. It worked in, and that's what we wanted to do, right? Essentially play, have two options, at least two options, take the one with the way the money works best for us. Gyökeres, it works best for us. He costs less to bring in and he costs less per week. So his salary is less. So everything about it says good. And we know he can score goals, whether or not that works in the Premier League. Same issue we have with Shesko. So I kind of feel like, we have Rodrigo as a Madueke, I forget who else we have. We're looking at in terms of attackers that we can bring in. All right. I think we have multiple options and we don't have to get, and we can still get Ollie Watkins if we wanted to at the end of the day. All right. So say we don't get Rodrigo because it costs too much. We can still get an Eze. And for me, I would like to get an Ollie Watkins. All right. I know some will say, who else do we have? Oh, Madueke. And, it's supposed his stats are comparable to what we have already. But he'll be a new club, blob of Clay that maybe Arteta can get a little bit something out of him more than what he got the last year, and he's done that already with with um with Kai Havertz. So if he can do the same thing with Madueke, then why not?
Here's the thing about this too. And once I heard the Madueke news, I feel like we're pronouncing that wrong, but that whatever.
Yeah.
Never professed to be a pronunciation specialist.
Mhm.
But it's like, I guess for me, my thought process with him is like, he's got to be option C, where it's like, you've kicked the tires on Rodrigo, you've kicked the tires on Eze.
Madueke has. What do you mean? What do you mean by option C?
Well, if I was going to prioritize who I would want on the list, it would be Rodrigo, Eze, and then Madueke.
Yeah, but okay, but he's a right wing. Nobody else in that list is a right wing. So
Correct.
and we know.
But I'm visualizing the front line as just the front line in general.
Yeah, but it's not, because we know we need somebody behind Saka. We need somebody behind Saka, and we don't, and we always talked about, right, who's gonna want to come and sit behind Saka. So he might be a player that can come and sit behind Saka, and it might cost a little bit more to do that. So yes, so the money might be the problem, but I think the role that we want, because we need it, and we don't know if Saka's coming back anyways. We believe he will, but until he actually comes out and we see the similar form that we had before he got injured, we don't know. So until Arsenal will know, but the fact that he might get injured again, and we've seen that, right, with that surgery, right? Reece James had that surgery, and it took well over a year to recover from it. So
here's another thing to point out about Berta. Berta has no love or loyalty to any of these players either.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying he's completely obsessed with the dollar and senses, but he also doesn't have the same attachment where, say, us fans would with some players.
Well, that's what we need. Tony, I know you wanted to say something.
Go ahead, Tony. Sorry.
Yeah.
I like him being in charge.
Yeah.
Because if you look at the schedule and the fact that we only have 3 scheduled preseason, I know low place.
We have 2 more. We have 2 more locally, the Emirates Cup. So we definitely have two in England. So on top of the ones that we're traveling for.
It's just weird how condensed it is, because they're like starting at the 25th of the season.
Yeah, I don't know if are we traveling and playing 3 games? Is that what it is? In Asia,
there's 3 games.
Yeah, and then there's 2 games. There's 2 games at Emirates, the Emirates Cup thing that we do. So we've got at least 5 games there, and then they do the behind the door things as well. So I don't know. I think that's about what we typically do, right? When they came to the States, I think they played at least 2 games, right? They played 3 games, right? They played 3 games because they played Philadelphia, they played New Jersey, and then they played California, I believe. So yeah.
All that's usually spread out across 3 or 4 weeks.
Well, no, that was done in like 10 days or something, right? So those 3 games, because you're traveling, right? Yeah. So, yeah. No, I mean, I think that's more, for me, I feel like that's more just to get them together when they get back to England. That's when they probably get a little bit more acclimated to themselves. As Stan says here, he doesn't really want us spending 50 on Madueke. I don't know what players we're going to get for 32, though, that are going to sit behind Saka, and we're going to go. I think a lot of people are like, why don't you just have Nweri do it? But I just feel like Nweri is not a right wing. He can play it, but he's not. He should be playing in the midfield behind Erdogan.
I hope he's not a make weight for that deal. That'd be very stupid of us.
Oh, because Chelsea's looking at Nweri? Yeah. I mean, Arsenal would be really silly to even cater to any to not be going 100% to get in Wary to stay. I mean, that would be
Yeah.
really silly. I mean, I just think that's bad business. You finally have a player that costs you, as according to PSR, nothing. The last thing you should be doing is trying to let them walk out the door, right? I believe he's got talents that we don't see from Erdogan. So, you know,
I would pay the man, and then I would put him out on loan.
Yeah, because he's not gonna be happy because they said they was giving cup games and basically coming off the bench minutes in the Premier League. So
yeah.
he's not gonna be happy with that. So he's gotta go elsewhere and prove himself and hopefully come back.
Yeah, I mean, if he can't hack it physically because of he can't go and play 90 minutes, then I can see that. But if they're going to use him just to build him up, like we saw that with Foden, all right? Foden never, I don't believe, went out on loan, and won Player of the Year a couple years ago. So I don't know. I think there might be a way for him to stay, and we get the best out of him. I believe he has a talent that we don't have. Not too many players can get the ball from out of their feet as quick as him and put it on target after coming fresh off the bench. So
when he has 0.96 goals per 90 minutes.
yeah, no, you should.
Basically a goal a game.
Yeah,
He should be coming on at least for 30 minutes left if you're not starting.
Yeah.
I would have started him when Odegaard was out.
Hey, Rosie.
But we didn't. I thought that was a mistake.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think a lot of people. Yeah, no,
Just read that one out loud.
Yeah, no, I didn't. I wasn't. I
Okay.
can't. I'm not
Just
allowed to. And then Moss just follows it up with an even nastier one. But yeah, no, I hear what you're saying. I just feel like if it's all about the minutes, then some other players should be going and not in Wary. That's all.
Steven makes a good point here, and I'm, he says it lower at the bottom. He goes, Saka wasn't a right winger when he started. He, like Weary, was a midfielder. He also played left wing back as well, or left back, however you want to say it. I would definitely give him Weary go at right wing if funds start becoming a problem. He's 100% right. He's 18 years old. He can learn both crafts. His strength may be the midfield, but there's no way that says he can't play the right wing.
I'm not saying he can't. I'm just saying like he should have the opportunity to play there, and I don't think he even was given the opportunity. Saka played everywhere, and he was given all the opportunities. I know it was a totally different time, but now we have the ability to actually put them in positions that they are best suited for. So I kind of feel like, you know what, if you can do that, you should do that, because that's where we are right now.
It's kind of like Skelly. They were talking about playing him as a 6 or 8. I think I said 8 first, because that's basically where he should be playing.
Yeah.
But what makes me mad about that, it's like you could have found it out last season. You were out of the title race. Throw him out there and see what.
Well, they've obviously gone a different direction, and they brought Zubimendi and Norgard in, right? So they don't, I mean, he might be better than Norgard, but he definitely is a good left back, right? So, yeah, like I said, I know, and where he isn't going to start over Saka, so he doesn't have a starting position there. Some people would say he has a better chance of starting in the midfield. You know what I mean? Because the way that Erdogan has played in the last season, is that going to change? If it changes, great. We go back to normal. If it doesn't,
less pressure though.
if it doesn't, you have a player there that can actually, might be able to do a little bit better than what we have.
I still think that's down to the assignment the players getting.
You think what?
I think Odegaard mostly is Arteta's asking him to track back and do all the pressing and stuff. Which he shouldn't have to be. Should be he's an attacking midfielder, or he should be going forward. I just think we need to change the formation.
Well, bringing it.
I don't like the 4-3-3.
Yeah.
So
Well, if you're bringing in
3-1 much either, but it's better.
if you're bringing in Gucarez, then maybe that's one reason why you're going to change things up, right? Many people don't believe he's like a striker like what Arteta has used in the past. So, you know what? When you bring in a player like that, then we can't like not get the best out of him, right? Hey, Ross is in the house. Thanks for joining us. So we should try to utilize those players that we're bringing in. Like Zubi plays a certain way, we should benefit. Make sure we're using him, get the best out of him. All right. So that's on Arteta to figure out the best way to get the best out of the players he brings in, right? I mean, we know why he wanted to bring in Shesko, but that doesn't. He's not starting over Kai Havertz, so that kind of defeats the purpose. We need to bring in starters for some of these positions, right? So I kind of feel like that's where
Our
Bucharest
starters
does
and
that.
people I can challenge for starting for if you want.
Yeah.
Which on the bottom side you can do with some of those 25 to 35 million pound players. Get a good tune out of them. I still wish we were doing more of a Premier League route. Hopefully we do that I would do most of my shopping in the Premier League because you're buying a known quantity. If it's 5 or 10 million more to a comparable player, who cares? Because you know what they do in the Premier League. They're used to it. So.
Yeah, Jordan House. Thanks for joining us, Jordan. What was that, Spencer?
So I was just thinking, like, I know some people were upset about the order in which these transfers have been completed. The 9 should have been number 1, but the reality is, when we kick off in August, as long as all the groceries are purchased, it's okay. It doesn't matter when the groceries are purchased, as long as they get a preseason training.
Yeah.
And they can integrate in the team. Again, like I still think that if there's a Rodrigo move, and I still think that's probably like an August 20th move or something. Mm-hmm. Could be completely wrong. It might not happen at all, but I feel like the majority of the transfers are going to be in before July 23rd. That's just my gut feeling.
Yeah. No, I guess it's no better time than now because I think I've been destroying the guy's name, Eucharez, as opposed to Gucarez.
Eucharez, I have no idea.
Yeah, Eucharez, I think it's his name.
Victor,
but
that's a good name to call him.
Victor. But this is what I created because if you recall from Batman,
never seen it.
When Bane heads to the stadium, he basically claps it, and the coolest part is the players running for a touchdown and standing in a touchdown and looks back, and that's what he sees. But but that's our man, Eucharez. So no, I'm going to try and say his name better, Eucharez. Get rid of that G. Maduke. There you go.
And that would have been Eucharez, right?
Eucharez. No, this is Maduke and the Eucharez. I don't get. You know what? Everybody with I get the names wrong.
J,
that is right. You put an R in Harlan, that's for sure. Like there's no R in the name, but I
definitely do. Yes, I definitely do.
And at this point, you should never fix it. You should just keep it forever.
I guess I don't like him. No, that Eucharez, Watkins, and Havertz as our strikers would be perfect. I think.
You know what, Gary? If these people don't like how you're pronouncing names, they're more welcome to start their own YouTube channel.
Oh no! Don't do that. No, they won't be on. They won't even be here. What are you trying to kick? I have like 5 people here. You're telling them to go get lost. No,
the views that I just expressed from my own and not Gary's. So everybody know.
I agree with your views. Thank you.
Oh, stop it, Tony.
Just kidding.
Yeah, Watkins might not be available. He might be going to Manchester United if they
That'd be wild though if he does go there.
Yeah. It's hard with like the African players because you never know if it's French or not their main language or some form of African.
Yeah. Well,
then you get to the Nordic ones, and that's just like an alien language.
True. Yeah. For me, and where he should stay. Let's figure out where to play him. All right, let's do that. So it sounds like he can
There's
play. Sounds like I believe he can play anywhere. We just need to make sure he gets the minutes. And Arteta is confident. Has confidence in him to play him when we need a goal. He comes in. All right. I don't know who else comes off the bench for me that gives me the confidence that they will get a shot off.
I'll defend you, Gary. Stan lived in the Netherlands for more than 10 years and never wanted to learn Dutch because
Oh, you're like talking about
that's just
yeah,
hard.
yeah, 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 yeah. You know what? You expected a bigger positive reaction, but you know what the problem is? Well, they seem to be dragged out. But I believe when Arsenal is ready, they pull the trigger pretty quickly. I mean, that's the one thing I believe everybody hopefully is noticing. Like they don't waste any time once they get all the answers that they need. Right, as soon as they got the answers that our our former number 6 was not going to be part of the club, right? Bang, bang, bang. They made a move and moved on. Right, they knew Zubi was coming in. They knew they needed a backup. It was either going to be former number 6, but it wasn't. So they went and got Norgard and they moved on. Kepa, they needed a goalkeeper, got him, done. All right. Gukharez, as soon as they got that flag that goes up that says this is all you're gonna get. These are the options. What do? Boom. We just went and made sure we got our all. Then you heard all the news.
Goodbye to the girlfriend.
Eucharist is going to happen, and
girlfriend.
we just did it. So I feel like the one thing that Berta is doing is he may have multiple options, but when he's ready to press the button and say, let's do this, it's done. Right? Because
It
basically,
almost,
yeah.
it seems like almost all these were the ones he had picked while he was going there. So it's kind of nice.
Yeah. But I think the numbers worked out in his favor, right? I think if Shesko, if the numbers worked out for him, they would have just went down that road, right?
Yeah.
But once it became clear that not what's going to happen, they moved on. I don't know. I'm not putting your comment up, BX. No, I'm not doing that. I'm moving on. You guys are talking nasty talk. Yeah, yeah. Now the one thing I knew, Stan and everybody knew this: Isaki, just play him anywhere. He's a footballer. Just put him on the pitch. The man plays wherever he wants. I mean, I think he can play everywhere as long as he's given the right instructions. I would like to have some of those instructions taken away from him. Let him just go and basically use use what was given to him and just take advantage of what the defense gives him.
He would. If you looked at him, you would think he's a Dutch player.
Yeah.
At least my older school of Dutch.
Yeah, but he needs to. We need a little bit. But we need that.
You have to learn all 11 positions. You go play all of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Their camp was so good because.
Yeah. Yeah, but then also you want them to take off those shackles, right? Take off those reins and let them just go run free for a little bit, and the defense won't have an answer. I don't know if
that's one thing that has to happen because it's like to me it's still micromanaged by Arteta what those guys do.
That's why I said things have to change.
It just doesn't seem like they have a freedom like they do on the defense on the set piece. Because you'll have Gabriel go look at it, go talk, come back, and all that's going on. And usually they pretty well. So
I hear you.
Like, he just needs to take the training wheels off and let him play. And with other words, he needs to put him in a place where he'll be best, and that will be somewhere back behind the striker in the middle of the pitch.
Well, that's why Arteta's going to have to do that, right? We got Tiger and Gooder in the house. Thanks for joining us. That's why I say things will have to change a little bit. We're going to have to be a little bit more open when we attack, a little bit less to the book.
I mean, look at the women, how quick they change managers and ended up with the Champions League.
Yeah. But you know what? The one thing that they had that we don't have is they actually had the talent. They just had the right manager. And I think I believe we needed to have either a really good manager or the talent. We don't have the talent, right? So, if we had a better manager, the results probably I believe would be better than what they have been, or we have to have better quality players, and we don't have that.
It's fun. Both of them, but I think it's more.
No, but if you're comparing the
Yeah,
women's game, the women's team is really good, like quality wise. They brought in some really good players. I mean, they brought in one of the a Spanish international who's out there just balling, right? For free, right? They bought in Russo for free. A little bit different, but the timing was right when they brought those players in. You know, but they had the talent. Their talent level is a lot better than ours. I mean, they've got captains of England there, right? We don't have a captain of England on our squad, right? So I kind of feel like, you know what? That's they had. That's why you either have to have a really good manager, a really experienced manager, or have some of the better talented players in your team. So Eucharist does that for us. We get a talented player. Now we see how it works. Yeah, yeah. As Bix says, Ethan can play the 9, 10, or 11 roles. Yeah, that's why I'm saying we keep him and just let him fill some of the gaps. Right? If he's sitting there playing behind Eze, he's going to learn some things. He's sitting playing behind Erdogan, he's going to learn some things. And eventually he'll find his way.
We're also talking about
Yeah.
2 18-year-olds also. Like,
Yeah.
one physically seems a little bit more up for it. The other one has a lot of raw talent. To have the expectation that both could just kind of, not expectation, but I guess the rarity of that breaking through at that age.
It's the trust, though. Arteta has
he doesn't trust a lot of young players. There's a history there.
He has trust in defensive players. Doesn't matter the age. Attacking players, he doesn't have the same trust. We see it all the damn time, right? You went out there, you got a Fabio Vieira, and he never really felt like he got the confidence and a push and the backing from the manager to make it work, right?
That's no matter how. I wonder how that's going to turn out too.
Yeah.
And you see it when Harry.
Yeah.
He does with creative stuff.
Yeah.
I think that's partially why he put the Bob on him, but he didn't really start playing regularly until Coyg went out.
Yeah,
and I know how to go to.
Yeah. No, I guess for me, if we had, I don't, and I think it has more to do with trust than whether we had injuries or not. Because Erdogan got injured, Saka got injured, and then we finally saw an Ethan play. All right, we've been asking for a left back. We've been asking for a backup to Saka. We've been asking for a backup to Erdogan. Right, and we have a player that can play those roles as we've seen, and he wasn't actually given the opportunity to do that enough. And maybe
it's criminal to me because, like I said before, it's basically a goal a game he's averaging. It's like why you don't have that player out there, especially when all your strikers are out. It seems like you would give him more of a chance.
True.
And he brought something different in too when he was playing.
Yeah. Well, I think he probably upset Arteta because, the first time, if you remember, the first 3 or 4 times he came onto the pitch, his first touch was a shot, and I was like, I like that.
He's like, that's what I asked for.
I like that. You bring a player in, you're down a goal. You need to get a goal to get back into the game. You bring on a player, and his first instinct is to shoot. Voila, that's what you want.
How many times do you say that to yourself per week? Just beat the ball, okay?
Yeah.
It's a big trademark.
Yeah. MLS didn't surpass Ethan. Ethan is physically not a 17-year-old. He's a 21, 22-year-old. He's ready for the battles. Yeah, well, you know what? There's different things because I'll say to me, I feel like Ethan has some of the shooting and the footwork skills. Maybe he doesn't have the body to hold up. And we saw from MLS that there are things that he needs to work on as well. So you get
MLS
him,
has
you get yeah,
strength.
you got him in different ways, right?
They're
You know,
two different. There are two different progressions in their whole
yeah.
process.
They
But
both they
And
both will get there, but I feel like you know, like
yeah,
if Ethan is playing with Rice coming up behind him, right?
hmm
Then he's got that's the help that he needs, right?
but MLS had played him under 21 when he just went from the under 17.
Yeah, and and he didn't. And people were saying, he didn't get to start there, but I don't. I think that would have been hard to just for him to just come in there and just take a spot. I don't know how that works. They've been practicing for a while. He just shows up. He's not going to take a spot right away. You know, he's not. Not there yet. But when he did come on, the game state did change. So I feel like he does offer something. Either maybe it's directly or indirectly from him being on the pitch. So yeah, he only came to light because of massive injury. Yeah, and that's my problem. He should have been. It once he like from what the little bits that I saw of him. I don't know if you guys remember. Like we saw him a couple years ago. He made this turn right in the midfield. Protected the ball and moved up the pitch, and I'm like, yes, that's going to work for us. We need somebody like that. And then he was, we didn't see him again for a year. And so I feel like he's got that in him. He's not as you say strong as Skelly, but I feel like he's got the mentality to be able to play the position and play either way in midfield. It sounds like the left wing. Ethan should be the priority over some John come lately like Maduke sends the wrong message to our academy hopefuls. Yeah,
And that's why so many have been moving on because they haven't been getting the guaranteed playing time.
but we're also
And,
assuming the club can't walk, chew, and talk at the same time, and do certain things. Like, why can't they do multiple things? Why can't they make a move for a player and also resign him Weary? They're incapable of that.
Yeah.
Like, we have to do multiple things at one time here. Like, I'm not a big fan of the Maduke move, but the Weary move either gets done or it doesn't.
Yeah.
But they're going to work on 3 or 4 other things at the same. I don't understand why everybody's like, just do this.
No, but okay.
Just one thing at one time, and then move on. They're going to do multiple things at the same time.
But if the answer
multi-talented people, they can do this.
But if the answer is Nweri, you were the backup to Saka, you were the backup to you're the third guy behind Eze and Erdogan, you've got a position. No worries, you're going to get your minutes. If that was the plan, then Maduke isn't required, right?
Well, okay, hold on now. So you're saying that Nweri's the backup to Saka?
I'm saying if that is part of the plan, then you don't need to get a Maduke. But it's not, because if it was, they wouldn't be.
So what if Ethan Nweri's? What if his demand is, I want to be on the starting 11?
He's not starting anybody. He's not starting in any top 6 team in the
Correct.
Premier League.
So he's going to either have to A, I want to stay at Arsenal, or B, I'm going to probably leave and go to somewhere like Dortmund.
Yeah. And it's going
so he's going to have to make a decision too. He's also 18 and he needs to read the room properly as well too.
Yeah.
This is on him as well.
Yeah. Yeah. So we don't know, right? We can only
we
only go by the actions and what we're seeing right now. He's not signed, so that means somebody isn't making the right. Somebody hasn't given the right answer to the question. And it could be Arsenal.
Could be an agent too. Could be an agent trying to push for more.
You heard Fabrizio say that he's a shrewd negotiator, like Saka, and again, Saka. No pen to paper yet. Saliba, no pen to paper yet.
But those are deals that I think Saliba still has 2 years, right? If I recall.
I think
Saliba has 2 years, so there's no reason to. They don't have to do the Saliba deal right now, right?
No.
Right. So I think he 27. Saliba and Saka Martinelli are all 27. Ben White 28. Jesus 27. I mean, I think like they don't have to get them signed right now, but it would be nice to get them signed before the season starts, right?
But that's where this season ended. They said they were working on those deals.
Yeah, those guys have they even got back from vacation yet? So you got to remember, like a lot of the times, these guys, like Gabriel was injured, so it was probably easier to work on his deal, right? These guys probably went on vacation. We saw them out at whatever the Grand Prix, the Formula One or whatever, and stuff like that. So I feel like those deals, if they're going to happen, didn't need to happen during the first couple of weeks of the window. And like I said, you're either going to re-sign them or they're gone come January or the summer.
Hopefully hold on to PVR. I think he's proven his worth now.
If he wants to stay, right? And if they offer him the right opportunity. Like for me, Kirior should have like based on what I saw this season, if that's what they were looking at in practice, there's no reason why he would be wanting to go. But the fact that it took an injury for him to actually get out there and perform and show us what he could do as a center back, it makes you wonder, like who's doing the evaluation of the players, right?
Well, you're also never gonna. It's really hard to unset a Saliba and a Gabriel. Like that's really hard to unset because those guys are so good. They're going to be
how many times over the last 3 or 4 years have we said we have no backups behind our center back pairing? We've been saying that for years now.
You have one. You've got Kirill.
No, but we didn't use him until we finally got an injury.
Correct.
Right.
So you're hold on. So you're going to pick a team sheet.
You have to rotate your players at some point. Mm-hmm. You have to.
So you would pick a team sheet and set Saliba just a random game day.
You have to look at your players and see when you have to look at your players and see when they're hitting the red, right?
Yeah, correct.
And that's the point I'm getting at, right? At some point, their body wears down. They have to get out. We saw Saliba pretty much wear down the end of the season playing with Kirior.
He looked the worst of
he looked the worst of the two when they're sitting side by side. And I'm saying at some point throughout a 50-game season, you should be able to rotate your best in class center back pairing, or else they're not going to be best in class.
I'm probably not. I'm going to be honest with you. Like if I'm picking the team sheet, Raya, Saliba, Gabriel, the first 3 names, every single game sheet.
If they can play, this is where you have to actually understand how your players play. At some point, they're going to wear down. At some point, you're going to need to rotate, and there's going to be legitimate games that you can rotate them in. Right? That's what I'm saying. Right? We keep complaining about how often these players play. They don't even get a summer off sometimes. And now we're saying, you know what, I'm going to play them all the time. And you see what happens when they get worn down. They get an injury here and there.
But this team's always known how Kirior is a center back.
No, they didn't enough.
Yeah, they knew. Come on,
they didn't enough.
That's basically saying
there were many a game that Saliba was struggling. You could see it in his play.
The manager
Gabriel was struggling. You could see it in his play. But we've seen Kirior come in and actually look the part. So for me,
we also knew, Gary, that none of these people actually trusted Kirior until this string of games. We can pull up.
That is Arteta's. That's what he has to do.
The fans didn't trust him.
You know what? Screw the fans. They don't know anything, right?
That's true.
The only person that knows is the manager and those players.
Facts. Agreed. 100%.
But
we don't know anything about what's going on in that locker room and that's going on in that field.
Last year, he's 22 wins or 22 times he's played. He's only lost twice. And that's over both those seasons. So
that's the same thing with Calafiori. Calafiori's a center back.
I see no defensive ability in that guy. He has to win me over.
He's a young player, and that
22 years old.
was one of the things they said about him. He's been in and out of injuries, so he doesn't have the same kind of experience as a 22-year-old that's just been playing all the time, right?
So did you put White behind Saliba, or did you put White behind Kimber?
I guess the answer for me is yes. You know what I mean? Yes, he can play behind either one, and that's why if you have a White and he's not going anywhere, guess what? You can plug and play and not drop your form considerably. You actually get something different on the right hand side, right?
The other problem this year too. White was injured.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a lot of injuries this year.
Yeah.
So again, like this,
I was hurt from last year. He'd been hurt for like a year and a half. Like, okay, we're gonna do.
I hope so, Moss. Mm-hmm.
Well, here's the other thing too. So, someone talking about Madueke. So you still got Nweri. If you bring in Madueke, that's another player that can rotate with other people.
Yeah, no, he can play. I think he can play. He can play anywhere in the front line.
This is the thing that's not guaranteed. Everybody's seeing the lineup with Martinelli and Trossard. There's no guarantee those two guys are on the roster in August. That's the point. I still could see a world where
here we go. If I am in charge and I have an opportunity, I'm selling both of them because that's what I said. I said that going into the end of the season.
So that's where you could find room for Nweri to do the backup, like you're saying, and Madueke.
It don't even matter if they're here or not. If they are here and Nweri's still getting his minutes, that's why it makes it easy to let him go. Because Nweri needs to get his minutes regardless of whether they're staying or not.
Correct.
I think he offers a lot more and can offer a lot more.
But if he's demanding that he starts 36 games a season,
I don't think that's happening. I don't.
And there's not many Premier League teams.
Now you're doing an F. You're doing a really big F.
Well, the argument I keep hearing people reported is saying that he wants more game time.
Yes. That means minutes. It doesn't mean starts.
Guaranteed.
That's not the report I was hearing.
Everything I've read is he needs minutes. Not start. Nothing saying I need to be a starter. You haven't seen starter. You've seen game time, right?
I've heard the starter. I've heard more minutes.
I haven't heard.
What does that even mean? Again, what does that even mean?
Well, he got 800 minutes. I think he wants at least double that, and I think he deserves. If he can handle it, he should be able to get double that this year.
I mean, you get 900 if you play in 30 minutes every match.
Yeah.
He got about 8. He got 800. He got what is it? He got 800 minutes. This year. He got 895 minutes in the Premier League he played.
Well, if you're looking to get him 1,600 minutes, you can do that through Champions League as well, and you can do that through League Cups, FA Cups. You can do it.
Yeah. So
again, if we're gonna sit here and talk about the team, and we're talking about having a cupboard full of talent, you have to sign Nweri, you have to sign Eze, or Rodrigo, or Matt, whatever. If all three, if you can do that, which I doubt it, and give yourself 2 or 3 deep at almost every position, and learn how to rotate.
That's what the good managers do.
Yeah, so I think Berta's sitting here looking like, hey, I'm going to get as much as I can because I saw the problems. And Berta's kind of like coming in as this, like, someone that's, an organization brings someone in to kind of evaluate what's wrong. Like, he knows what's wrong at this point, and he's trying to fix it. That's why a good deal for a no guard. Like, that makes good business. Kepa. I guess if you get that who the kid is from Spain. But Mascara. Yeah, if you can get some of those players in, and you bring in an Eze, you bring in if you're lucky, a Rodrigo, you can move on from Martinelli and Trossard. Trossard being 30, Martinelli kind of got what you can get out of him.
I think he's hit his peak. That's as much as he can get out of it.
I mean, if you could go into a world where you get Eze, Yorkeres, Noguard, Zubimendi, Kepa, like the one Mosquera, and let's say you get a Madueke and a Watkins. It's a good window.
That would be the worst case scenario, right? So and we can live with that, all right?
It's still a really good case scenario.
I'm saying in this like we can do better than that, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. Oh
Right?
yeah.
Yeah. And so if the replacement was, all right, you're going to get, a Rodrigo, as instead of Watkins and
Or even a Morgan Rogers
then
instead of an Eze.
yeah. I don't. Well, that's the
And
problem.
just
Okay, yes, I don't think. Yeah, I think Rogers is tougher to get in. Eze says yes right now. So Eze is all about a numbers game right now.
Yeah.
So that can definitely, that is an easy one to happen, I believe.
Can't you
But there's
sell?
also, but I
Can't
think
you sell
also
Murray
Bayern
about
Munich
the
was
left
not-
side of? They can play left wing. Can't you sell him on that side?
Yeah, you can, but I think, I mean, he's definitely, his strength is definitely in the midfield, right?
Yeah, agreed. I think that's the one that's got the biggest pressure on him this year is Odegaard.
Because you bring in an Eze, and if Eze does what he has, we've seen him do for Crystal
He pushes
Palace and what he's done for England, right? And he's taking these shots from outside the box, and he's doing the things that we want Odegaard to do. You were standing at the 18, put your foot through the ball, right? And if that's Eze doing that, you're like, right? He's opening things up for the rest of the player, his teammates, right?
I was given a bunch of information, and I'm going to put it out. The person doesn't watch, so whatever. But basically, there was a rumor flying around, and this person lives overseas in that area. So God, don't know where. Again, this is just a rumor. Take it like the sun. But apparently, the rumor flying around is that Odegaard is going to relinquish the captaincy. Have you heard that rumor?
I saw something about somebody saying Rice should get the captaincy or something like that. But I just thought it was just a comment. So
yeah, and then what else did the person say? Said that Rice may become the new captain.
Gabriel needs to be the one that's the captain. But
Eze was going to come. Gorkas was going to come. There was someone else that they mentioned. But anyway, that's I can't find it. But anyway,
finally making sense.
well, I feel like if he's ready to relinquish his armband, then one that should allow him to just work on his game. Because I think he's got the skill set. We just need to see it, and it maybe the captaincy isn't a big burden, but maybe it is. Maybe it's just maybe it is putting that undue pressure on him to because you think about it, Rice isn't coming off the pitch in most games, right? And if he is, the game's done, all right, or he's injured. That's usually the way that works. Odegaard's coming out of games healthy, right? And that's not
But that's okay. I think your captain could get subbed off. I know I'm going to take a lot of heat for saying that because Tony Adams never came off. Whatever, that's a different time frame. But so I said Saka would be potentially the new captain. Odegaard wants to relinquish the role to concentrate on playing. Arsenal want to pay up front for Eze, Zuba, and Kepa. This is back in June 26. And then here was the other one: Arsenal in for Mark Gahey.
We know that's not happening. So
Yeah.
so at least one of those you go, you just scratch it off. So
this one's also ahead. Thomas Partey going to Marseille.
Well, that's not happening. Yeah, no, yeah. Mascara makes more sense in terms of having support behind, because he could be the next Saliba.
Gahey wants to start immediately, but if you bring Gahey and you're playing a back three, right?
Do we even? Well, I'll be upset again, because then I'll be like, why didn't we do it when we needed to, when we had injuries to the back line? You know what I mean? We have injuries to the back line. You could have played Ben White and Saliba and Gabriel if you wanted to, or Timber and Saliba and Gabriel if you wanted to. We didn't do it, right? We didn't do it. So for me, like, bringing in Gahey makes no sense just to play a back three when, like, you have players that can play a back three already, right? Tierney can play a back three last season, with the injuries we had.
Tomiyasu.
Well, no, Tomiyasu can't. There's a big difference between Tomiyasu and Tierney. One actually can play, was playing. The other one can't play right now, and he's now.
I heard the stat the other day. He only played or started 21 games in the last 3 years.
Yeah, no, these injuries hurt us, because we definitely could have used him. Curio must be given more games.
Probably one of the next behind Gabrielle, I think he was the
Yeah.
best defender on the
Do that.
team.
Yeah.
But I was gonna say earlier, if you watched when they would line up and huddle and everything else, you would assume Gabrielle was the captain, and you would assume Rice is the vice captain. Like their actions and how vocal Gabrielle and
I-
stuff
I'll
is.
I'll I'll give I'll be on the Erdogan side a little bit this time. He definitely was injured, so I'm going to give him that as far as his performances not being what they needed to be. Um, you know, we've been helping to get him back to form, right? But he was definitely injured. Should he even have been playing? That's a question to be asked, right? We know Saka probably shouldn't have been playing, but he is, and he's able to make it work, and not. We don't feel as bad when we see him out there not performing at his peak, right? So,
Well, I guess the whole point I was trying to make earlier is that because we were unable to really put the ball in the back of the net, pretty much anybody in the front line, your job is up for grabs right now.
Yeah,
outside of Saka.
Yeah, and he doesn't put the ball in the net as much as we want. So,
but again, you bring in a Yorkis, Saka's levels raise. You bring in a Rodrigo, Saka's levels raise.
Yep.
You know.
No, Eucharist should make it easy because now you bring three players out to Saka mistakenly.
Mm-hmm.
Eucharist should be streaking through the middle, just waiting for a ball to come so he can put his foot through it.
Yeah.
All right.
So Gary, how can we sign our second striker since first one seems like it's a done deal?
It's not. It's when it's done. Then we'll think about it. But I don't think we're going to do that. I think Kai Havertz is a good backup unless we have monies to get another one.
Havertz is going to end up potentially being the backup 9 and playing the 8 role at times too. He's going to be the multi-tool. It's going to happen.
Yeah. No, I don't. I getting rid of Kai Havertz isn't this year thing for me. No. It could be next year, but this year I think we have so many other holes we need to fill. And we saw, and I still, we saw when he came back, he was raring to go. Yeah. If we're getting that, if that's think about it, we're going into a game, we're down, Eucharist is tired or whatever. Mm-hmm. We pull him out, you put Kai Havertz in there and Erdogan and him and sitting up at the top pressing, right, late in the game. We're laughing, right? We get back in the game. We get back in the game. Because whenever you see our press, the way it's worked in the past, when those two are up top running, doing what they do, the ball never gets across midline, right? And then then you tell me that Zubi might be one of those guys intercepting that ball. We're laughing.
Mm-hmm.
We're laughing.
I mean, Havertz was on pace for what, 20 goals this season? I think he would have had 15 before he got injured.
Yeah, and then if on the left hand side you've got Rodrigo there, or you've got Eze there, right?
It's good problems to have.
We're pressing like that. We got answers to get back in the games. We got answers to pull away and close out games. So I mean, that's the good thing about what we've seen and what we could be going forward. Yeah.
These are good problems to have for sure.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. No, like I said, if Kyrgios wants to stay, then definitely stay, but he has to get the minutes. The only way he's staying, if he gets the minutes, it makes no sense to keep him and then have him sitting there idle. Yeah.
But that's the thing. It's like you got to convince all these guys about playing the cups because we're not going to put ourselves.
No, you don't say that. You're not selling anybody and playing in a cup. You're not bringing in a Maduke and say you're playing in cups. You're not saying that. You will rotate in.
That's going to have to be the thing this year. Like, this is the reality here that we're not seeing. Like, or maybe I guess we're going to have to come to realization with. Like, if you bring in a Madueke in, he's going to play 15, 20 minutes a game. Then he's going to start for the Villa game or pick a game like Brighton. He's like, you have to figure out. You can't go to Saka and say, hey, I need 38 games out of you straight. Yeah. Like, you're going to have to come off the bench some games. Like, it's just the facts. Yorkis might be a guy you might be looking at. I mean, you're going to – like, we can't be sitting here like, yeah, we have to sell.
Saka's not going to come back from that surgery and play 35 games. That for me is – that should just be an easy thing to think
I mean,
of.
City
Like,
has no problem getting talented players to sit on their bench.
yeah, if you and I compare that all the damn time. I look at the numbers, and I'm like, look at how many of these guys are playing 35 plus. Two,
Yeah.
Rodri and the goalkeeper. You know what I mean?
Here's the problem.
Rodri and the goalkeeper are playing 35 plus. Everybody else is playing, 33 and between 33 and about 25.
Here's the
Right?
thing, though, Gary, and Tony. This is facts, and this is 100% in my mind the most truthful thing I'll say all night. All right, so that's a lie. But our problems with rotation come down to not being clinical enough early in games. Period. Gary's probably said this. Gary just smiled because I've said what he probably has been saying.
No, I'm gonna
But-
say no.
No.
My thing is, if we're not clinical in the first, like Eucharist has had like 5 chances to score in the first half, right?
Mhm.
Not his day. For whatever reason, not his day. Arteta's got to know his players and know when, like, today's not your day of being Kai Havertz on at halftime. Everybody's screaming, why are you doing that? It's not his day, and the manager knows it. So instead of, like, putting him out there for another 15, 20 minutes and not getting the same thing out of it, he brings in his backup and says, we're going to try something different, and maybe things work out in our favor. You know what I mean? But that's what I want. Like, I hear what you're saying, but that's what I want. Yes, we can close out games. We can close out games in the first half, and then it makes it easy to sub. But also, when things aren't working, we bring somebody in as well. We don't wait until 20, 30 minutes where we're down another goal to figure out maybe we can make this adjustment. I think we need to be making subs for the other team.
Mm-hmm.
Now at times we're like you see it, right? It's a tie game. We look dead on our feet. All right, can we bring in some backups? No. Bang. Either they go ahead or they tie the game up, and you're like,
That's why Berta and Arteta have to sit down, convince Nweri to stay. If you make a move for Madueke, you make a move for Madueke. And you just sell everybody on the project of, hey, this is what your part is going to be in it. You're getting paid pretty damn well to be here, so do the job.
Supposedly he's not going to get paid much, is what I've heard.
Who, Nweri or Madueke?
Madueke. Like, he might not even get paid he might get paid as much as Nweri.
Maybe. Well, that's a good deal then, if that's the case.
That's what my understanding is. And I don't like giving cash to Chelsea. I don't like giving cash to anyone. Chelsea hasn't worked out for us in our favor. And
I would love for people to just give their players away to us for free, but that's certainly not how this works. So
Mascara, it'd be nice to see him come in. I think he is less than 15 mil. I think right now they put a bid in for 11 or so, and it got turned away. So I think under 20 mil we can get him, and I think that's a good backup to if Saliba does leave. All right.
Yeah.
So
that's something that is a big reality. I think, regardless of who the manager is here, Saliba wanting to punch out to go to Real Madrid. I don't think you can. I think Arsenal's at a stage now where they can combat anybody wanting to move to another team in the Premier League. There's no we're not a stepping stone for anybody. Not Van Persie, Arsenal, whatever. But again, I think Real Madrid, if they come a calling, dude, I think so many players would just be like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, and I assume if he doesn't sign the end of this transfer window, everybody assumes he's gone. And if Mosquera is in the house, everybody assumes there's the future there. So yeah.
It's a plan. You got to start prepping for it.
No.
It's I don't like it. I want Arsenal to be the ending point for everybody, but I just think if they want if Real Madrid wants Saliba, they're gonna get him. I hate to be the party pooper guy here, but it feels like that.
Well, I mean, look at all the players they brought in, right?
Yeah.
And Bellingham, they brought in Mbappe. I mean,
the scariest thing is I'll give you a scary scenario here. And maybe it's not scary too. Saliba goes for a free. But on the flip side of that, you win the league and win a Champions League in the next 2 years. But he goes for a free to Real Madrid. You'd have to live with that one. Because if if Real Madrid knows
that means we're winning the Champions League next year. Because I can't see it the other way. I can't see us winning the Premier League and then he doesn't just leave. As opposed to we win the Champions League and like he's got an incentive to stay and he can leave on, and go out.
I mean, for his perspective, he say, "I got you guys in Champions League and I got you a Premier League." And these are all what ifs and just make believe scenarios in my mind. But at the end of the day, look what happened in Mbappe. PSG got nothing.
Yeah. They got a Champions League.
Well, again,
they got a Champions League. They got rid of Mbappe.
Probably real.
But, Moss here says Eucharist drooling over Odegaard passes that nobody else was finishing.
That's a reality. I think everybody talks about how bad our midfield was this year, but no one was finishing up top too very well. So that kind of plays a factor into it. Someone's got to receive the ball and put the ball in the back of the net. So if we can up those levels, then why not? I think by the time we sit here on the 14th next week, spider on the ring camera. Sorry about that. We'll the Gorka deal will be done. I think so.
And I hopefully that's done before the weekend. And the Eze thing is either if it's going to happen, it's going to happen hopefully soon after that, and then we'll see about Rodrigo. Who else will? Like for me, if they get the Eze, Eucharist, and Zubimendi, those are three good pillars to have in the window. And Rodrigo, we know, is not going to happen until most likely August anyway. So if it doesn't happen, then at least maybe, when they realize it may not happen, because the longer it drags out, the more teams could get invested in maybe bringing Rodrigo in, right? I think Bayern Munich could be a problem because Masala is out for, what is it, 4 or 5 months right now. So they're going to be looking for an attacker. So I think that's where Eze might be. It might be a little bit hard to get Eze because he might actually want to go to Bayern.
Well, if Eze goes to Bayern and you can get Rodrigo, then with that.
True.
I think again, if you can finish the window with Rodrigo and Giorkas coming in, those two attackers, even though I said we need 3 or 4 maybe.
Yeah.
Still feel really good at the levels you've upgraded.
Yeah, those two are the pillars, and then you have everybody. But like you got Eucharist and you got a Norgard behind him, right?
Yeah.
You get Rodrigo and Eucharist, right? You got your front line sorted, and it's just a matter of filling in the backups after that, right? I mean, we don't like if that happens, right?
Mm-hmm.
We got our starting 11, right?
Yeah.
We know we can rotate in the back line with barely any issues, right? And it's just a matter of who plays behind Erdogan and Saka.
Here's another player. I know people are going to say we can't rely on him because of his injury history, but Jesus, he's the guy that's probably going to finish the season at Arsenal this year and then probably move next summer.
Or he might be ready to go and he might move in January.
Possibly. As long as he's not a rip the contract up guy and move on.
Yeah.
I still need to get some sort of work out of you.
Yeah.
I sound like a angry boss. You're going to go file these papers in that closet for the next 4 months.
Yeah. So this is like, let's see, this if Mosquera comes in, look at this could be these are our center backs essentially. So we've got, so who wouldn't want that to be their players that are playing on the back line at some point, right? So,
well, again, pick a sport. Defense wins championships.
Well, no, it doesn't.
It absolutely does.
Doesn't if you don't have a decent quarterback.
Well, you got to have that. It's part of
we don't have that decent quarterback, that player that you got one of those, you have the better chance along with a good defense.
My Thunder had the best defense in the NBA. Look what happened.
Your what?
It's Thunder.
My Thunder.
Yeah, but you have one of the best attacking players in the league, in the world. So stop it. You might have had a really good defense, but you had one of the best attackers in the world, all right? Just like, but if Arsenal has one of the top attackers in the world, then along with their defense, they're laughing. They're enjoying life, all right? We don't have that yet. We'll see if we get it. Rice overall play last season doesn't deserve to be captain. He was great for the last 12 games or so. He was my biggest disappointment last season. He was nowhere for the first 2 to 3. The first third of
I
the
thought he
season,
was
the
terrible
first
until
third of the season, I think
January.
that was the remnants of the Euros. I think we rushed him back, and he never got his footing. Because the reason why I say that is because when it happened, I was like, he probably shouldn't have even, because he came back right away and played, and I think Saka didn't come back right away. A lot of other teams sat their starters. I mean, I know that like Salah did not play right away, or didn't play as many, to start. Like they kind of weaned him in. Rice was there running, ready to go, and I think for me, I think we rushed him. He didn't have to come in fast, but we definitely didn't have answers.
He,
And
but
that's
what's
why.
weird, Gary, is like the entire season he was good in the Champions League, but the Premier League he was terrible. That first
The Premier
half
League's a
of the
tougher
season.
league than the Champions League. We know this, right? So you're comparing apples to oranges when you do that, in my eyes.
I still think he got better when it was Gabriel finally got injured. Like I said, he was the de facto
Yeah,
co-captain.
Yeah.
Maybe the captain.
yeah,
Gabriel was that.
yeah. No, I can understand Rice not being your favorite, but I think everybody is, can see Gabriel as being the captain for sure. So either one works for us. I think either one I feel would relieve Erdogan of a little bit of the pressure that he's under. So we
I
know
just wish
Rice
Paul
has
would
been a
go
captain in
back
the
to-
Premier League, so he's got that. Gabriel, as far as I know, has not been a captain in any team that
Well,
he's
again,
been on.
I
So
think about this.
I just wish things would be simple and they'd go back to here's your captain, here's your vice captain, not here's your fifth string captain. I never understood that mentality. And then we got
But you're always going to have the leaders on the different lines, anyways, right? So, say your captain and vice captain are, or for example, like you said, Gabriel and Rice, but you might have like maybe Saka be your captain of the front line to some degree, because that's how good he is, and that's how he leads. All right, so I can see you having multiple, even if you don't name them. So I hear you though.
You're gonna have
I
people
just,
that are gonna have to stand up and do the job and help out with the captaincy. Like
I
it's
just never liked
if you
that
got a group of
five
25,
captains
Yeah.
I mean, you're going to have expectations for your main captain to be the captain, but other people to help push that message along.
And you have Norgard, who's a captain as well. So you have
Yeah.
leaders that
You
aren't
brought
even,
in another
that aren't even starters, right? So once again, we've got you had took Jorginho and you replaced it with Norgard, right?
Yep.
So, yeah. I didn't watch much of the Gold Cup, but I did see the U.S. missed many chances, and their football was porous. It could have been. If they could play any kind of, they could string some passes together, they may have gotten back into that game. So maybe that's just
They look very poor so far.
they got to the final, right? So yeah, I definitely think Gabriel was my player this season. Definitely missed him. Yep, no, Jesus going in January. I believe should be our plan. So
Yeah.
I think he wants to. He probably wants to go as well. He knows this. He hasn't been able to get. He's not going to get minutes with us. Yeah. Let's see. Cesar Montes. Okay. He's talking about the players in the Golden Cup. Edison Alvarez was a stud player returning. Yeah. I think he plays for. Is it West Ham? Or is it Aston Villa? West Ham. Yeah.
Yep.
Saka needs to be subbed more often to save his legs. Yeah. Subs are just like rotated, You're gonna get that with Maduke. You should be able to do that with
And
Wary. So I mean, I think
Wary's young enough where you could force him into that position and say, look, you're going to play right wing. You could play
Yeah.
left wing. I think you could sell him on that.
Like I said, I
in
don't
this-
think he wants to be a starter. I think he wants to be more. He wants to participate and contribute more. I think that's all he wants, and I think that's all. That's what I would want for him. If he wants to be a starter, then yeah, he's getting the wrong information. He's not a starter yet. Not yet. I mean, there's only a few that can play, and they're 18
and I
and
wouldn't
under,
trust
right?
Chelsea to start me anyway.
Well,
Chelsea's
that's
the
a
one-
different
oh, we'll
story.
start you.
Right?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a different story altogether. Like going to
like
Chelsea.
me and your 19 other forwards. Yeah,
Yeah.
okay, sure.
Yeah.
I wouldn't trust Chelsea.
Yeah. Chelsea would be a bad move. Boy,
Yeah,
10 is in the house. Welcome, thanks for joining us. Definitely we got Zubi. Definitely, yeah, good. Happy for that. Let's move on to the next one. I can't. I'll be really upset if Chelsea. No, that's just jokes. That's just the media trying to keep us engaged in their nonsense.
That's what these people, if we just played players like him.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if Moreno. Anybody think Moreno is the reason why we got Zubi?
no,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. I hear what you're saying here. You have to Rodrigo and Eze, but I feel like there are other ways we can. There's other ways to get to where we want.
Mhm.
I just couldn't figure out where Murray was to the midfield.
Your audio's going
He
in and out
did.
for me.
He just didn't seem like he hit the midfield, and it ended up being like 5 of these better attacks.
Yeah. Madueke is not a terrible. No, like I said, his stats say different than most people want to believe. So, I mean, I'll play. I think once again, coming from Chelsea, playing with Arsenal, playing with a better team, whatever struggles he has, there will be less here. All right, he definitely's got the young legs, so he probably puts that. I think he'll be, like you said, similar to Martinelli, just on the right hand side, and we know the defensive stuff that tracking back, he'll have to do that, and he'll be fresher legs, taller than Saka, so that'll work. You guys see that video of Eze and Richard Ronson playing? I think they're there's something happened. Oh yeah, it was chess. They were playing chess, and at one point Bronson concedes, and then Eze's just sitting there, kind of just like smirking, and then he like throws his water on him, and then it was a joke, of course, but it was funny. It was funny. Anybody up for Elanga? He's going to Newcastle now.
Player
55 mil for Elanga.
I wouldn't have been happy at 55 million for him.
He's a starter.
Over who on our team?
No, he's a starter. You're bringing in a starter, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, for that amount. Yeah, for sure.
That's why you have to pay that much.
I just don't know where he fits in. Like, I mean, obviously, could find a place for him. Don't get me wrong. I have to absolutely find a place. I just don't know. Do you know what I mean? Maybe I'm wrong. I mean, I'm like I said, I'm not the first time I've ever been wrong on this channel. It won't be the last, but I wouldn't be happy with it.
Yeah, PSG does look really good. I mean, I think they look really good, but I believe we gave them a good game with what we had. If we were healthier and had our full squad, I would like to see how that game would have went.
Even if we were all inside and you leave Emirates at 1-1, how that second game goes over.
But that's why killed them. Killed us is because they got that last goal, and after that you're trying to play catch up, so they don't make mistakes.
Yeah, and is that the game? Is it Erdegaard missed the penalty in that game, the 1-0 game, or is that in the second leg? I can't remember if we haven't got a penalty.
If we had a penalty, they had a penalty.
Yeah. I can't remember. I thought we had a chance to score from this spot, but that might be a different game. the midfield is in limbo for me because we have so many. But what the best option? Do we count Kai and Marino in midfield if they're better at scoring goals?
I
So the
think
midfield right now, right, is Zubimendi, Rice,
Very,
and
very
Erdegaard,
solid.
right? And where he could be in there. We know that Miles Lewis Kelly could get in there. You know what I mean? So if you want to talk about like if we're under constraints, then we could do that. Kai can definitely play in there. You know, Moreno. I'm not even. I don't know where Moreno plays unless he plays like fourth
so.
striker.
I think the thing you could do with that kind of midfield, if you were having issues unlocking like I don't know, like a 19th place team in the league, and you've tried everything you could with Odegaard and Rice, you could throw those two on there to kind of help unlock the. You know what I mean? Like it's a different way of playing. It gives you another option.
But I feel like Kai being there against any of those teams that the low block his ability to hit.
Yeah. You know, Zubin and Rice in midfield. I want to see her to go higher up. I'm with you on that one.
I think we will see that. I think
because Rice is definitely more of a defense. You know, he can definitely hold up defensively. Let Erdegaard take whatever responsibilities he has defensively and give it to Rice and push him up the pitch. So yeah, that's a discredit to Mexico, Gary. They won fair and square. I didn't say they didn't win fair and square. I just said that America had chances to score. If that's discrediting Mexico, then so like if you watch that last like 20, 30 minutes of the game, they had the ball in attacking areas and just threw up on themselves, you know. So yeah, no. And I don't recall Mexico getting as many chances late in that game. So, you know, yeah, I didn't say Mexico didn't play well. Those games against Mexico and the U.S. are always really good. I think if you had some of the starters, right, then it might have been different. If you had a Pulisic in there, it probably would have been a different game. All right. So, yeah, I mean, I think Mexico played a U.S. team that didn't even have some of their best players. So, you know, so there you go. As they beat, the crossbar from 20 yards out. Oh, I didn't know about that one. Yeah, everybody talking about Zubimendi. All right, we're gonna, we're coming close. We had done it almost 100 minutes. We're gonna have to get out of here. I'm gonna have to get out of here, and we're all good. That means we're all gonna have to get out of here. Did anyone see the David Rea wedding ceremony? Okay.
Nope.
No. All right. I've gone through all the chat. I think I put everybody's messages up except for the ones that were like not safe for work messages.
I do got to say this though. Speaking of weddings, my missus got invited, and we got both invited to a wedding. One of her friends, and it's in football season. Do you know what she said, Gary? My husband will not be attending us during the college football season. I didn't even tell her. She did it for me. It's very impressive. So,
yeah, yeah. But well, you know what? It's crazy because my team hasn't been that good. I don't know. We'll see how they do this year. I'm not as diehard, and I guess I've seen my team win three national championships. So I kind of feel like, you know what? If I miss a game, it's all right.
Yeah, I've seen mine win too. So
yeah, so you know, I've been at the game for two of them, so that's been pretty good. One of the first one that I went to, we were gonna buy tickets. It was like I think it was $50 for a ticket, and I was like, no, it was either 50 or 100, whatever it was. I was like, I'll wait. Prices never went under 100 after that. So yeah, take the first deal you get sometimes, because now the games cost like $600. So
yeah.
So yeah, that's when you have old golf.
Yeah, yeah. All right, I'll let everybody have their say, and we're gonna get out of here. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. And Tony, what would you like to say to the people?
If you like wrestling, this is a week to pay attention to me. Got 4 shows, normal Thursday review, preview show, and then two premium live events on Saturday. The women having their own on Sunday.
Oh, there you go. Cool. So check out Drop Kick Missile. What is it? Drop Kick Missile? Missile Drop Kick.
Missile drop kick. Wrestling top.
Wrestling.
Two.
Yes. Sorry, I'm destroying your name.
Profit and you can
Missile Drop Kick
find it.
Wrestling. Yes, with Tony and Russ usually is there. And Spencer, what you say you?
See you Saturday. That's what I'll see.
All right, we'll see you guys on the weekend. We'll be back. So see you next week, lads. Love from Australia. Yes, Tiger and Gunner. Everybody enjoy your time. Hopefully we do get that. Supposedly we were close to her. Here you go on Eze, as far as Fabrizio has told us. So that should be great. And then next up. Oh wait, is it? Here you go for Eucharist and then Eze. So hopefully that all plays out. This be nice to say at the end of this week we've got 2 players that can play in the front line, or at least we've got an attacking mid in the middle that can do some work for us. But thanks for joining us.
A nice video if you could have them both and out at the same time, but like follow each other up on the phone and stuff.
That'd be cool. You have Eze putting a shot in, and then you got Eucharist heading it home. Everybody says his heading is terrible, but I'm like, dude, we haven't had a good header on the attacking side, anyways, outside of like our defensive players. So
last one on offense.
Yeah. I hear you. All right, everyone. Thanks for joining. We'll be back next week. Same bat channel, same bat time. We'll do this and we'll talk about hopefully the official signing of Eucharist and Eze hopefully coming in very, very soon. All right. If you haven't already, subscribe and like, and we'll see you guys on the next one.
Life is a journey. Don't waste your trip.